Hi everyone, this is Lindsay Lapaquette, and I wanted to talk to those of you today who are looking for different ways to look at the stress that we all encounter on a regular basis within our jobs. So I think society has definitely changed a whole lot, obviously, since I was a child. And we now have, often we have multiple computer screens at our desks, plus our phones, multiple email addresses open at the same time. We are reachable now off work hours very easily through our phones, which wasn't the case when I was a child. And the impact on this over time is that it can set us into a state of chronic stress. And what can happen there is then we're not able to recognize our internal body cues that show us that we're in a state of stress, or show us that our emotional regulation is getting us into a state of fight or flight. Now, what impact does that have on us at work? It can have all sorts of impacts. It's going to impact your productivity at work. It's going to impact the ability to have a calm conversation with a colleague. It leads to impulsive decisions. Sometimes it leads to making decisions out of fear. So not being aware of your emotional state in the moment can lead to all sorts of outcomes, which can lead to big problems in business and ultimately have a big impact on profits, staff retention, the job satisfaction of staff. So what I wanted to talk to you today about was a little bit about regulation and how to start to notice those internal body cues. So when I look at regulation, there's three states really that our body can be in. We can be in a state of just right. So being in a state of just right means that we're calm, we're relaxed, attentive, we're able to concentrate. So these are the moments when we're really being the most productive, right? We get things done, our body is calm, we're not feeling stressed. So this all applies at home too, but for today I'm just talking to you about how that impacts you in the work setting. So when you're in a calm state, when your boss comes in and gives you a new project to do, you don't freak out and resist because you're not feeling overwhelmed. When you're in a calm state and you're having a difference of opinion with a colleague, you're able to discuss that collaboratively and get to a good solution together in a way that you can't when you're in a fight or flight state. So just right is the first state. The next state is being in a state of being on high. So being on high is a feeling of being stressed, being anxious, being overwhelmed. So our body is really running on adrenaline here. I think we all know these moments. Those of you who have kids at home, a lot of people are on high as they're trying to get their kids to bed because we've just had so much to cope with throughout the day that it piles up. So everyone's going to fluctuate throughout the day. Nobody stays on just right all of the time. But if you're not recognizing within yourself that you're starting to get on just right in your work setting, then you're not going to be intentionally using strategies to bring you back to just right. Now, what's the outcome of being on high? It's arguments with colleagues and your boss. Like I said, it's overreacting to small changes within the work setting. It can cause rigidity and not wanting things to be done differently because you're in a state of fight or flight. Now, if you're not recognizing these body cues, you can get into a continual state of being on high, and that can really impact productivity. You start to feel frustrated at work, you're constantly stressed. So this can be really detrimental to a business's well-being and productivity. Now, the other state is being on low. So being on low is what it feels like when you wake up on a Saturday morning and you were out late the night before and you're really tired and you just don't have the energy to get up and do anything. So being on low is just as detrimental as being on high, because when you're on low, you're having a really hard time getting yourself going and getting motivated to do anything. So that can sometimes happen when we've just had too much on our plate and we kind of shut down to disconnect from everything. All the demands are too much, the phone ringing is too much, there's too many emails, and we kind of shut down to just be able to protect and give ourselves some time. Again, the thing is, if you notice yourself slipping into low, you're able to use some strategies to get back to just right. So the first step really in managing chronic stress, or any stress really within the work setting, is starting to identify your signals that you're slipping into high or slipping into slipping into low, and knowing what you can do to get yourself back to just right. So I give all sorts of workshops to individuals and corporations on how to identify these signals, what to put in place, how to work effectively with one another so that everyone's needs are met, even when we're working with different people who have different needs. So if you're interested in booking a workshop, please contact me. My information is on my website, Lindsay Lapaquette, Collaborative Solutions. I look forward to working with you someday. Thanks.